Hi, I'm Emma Cooper and I'm Head of Land Rights and Responsibilities for the Scottish Land Commission. I'm absolutely delighted to announce that today we're launching our route map for community benefits. Now, the route map is a tool that can be used by landowners, project developers and communities to think about all the ways in which a natural capital project can benefit those communities. So we're thinking about social, economic, cultural and of course environmental benefits from these projects. When we're talking about community benefits from nature restoration projects, we're referring to investment in natural capital. Now, natural capital is all of the things that are around us that we use in some way. So it's everything from having clean water and clean air to breathe, to the things that grow around us, the rocks, the plants, the food that we eat, the condition of our soil. All of these things are part of the natural resources that nature provides for us, and we call that natural capital. Often that investment comes from the public sector, and we've got huge amounts of funding going into things like peatland restoration and woodland creation. But we also bringing in finance increasingly from the private sector, from philanthropists, environmental NGOs, and so on. Now, all of that investment needs to work together to manage our land in a way that mitigates climate issues, helps us adapt to climate change, helps us to restore biodiversity, and helps us care for our natural world, as well as thinking about how it can care for our communities and ensure that our rural communities in particular are sustainable for the long term. We're thinking about community benefits a lot at the moment because we're seeing significant land use change in Scotland. Now, for nature restoration projects to be successful, we know that we need to have the trust of the local community for those projects to work. So community benefits are thinking about how do we build that long-term relationship? How do we get that social license to operate? How do we ensure these projects are long-lasting and long-term and don't just benefit nature, but benefit all the people and communities who are in that area? We've developed this route map to help people work out the best approach to agreeing community benefits with a community. Now, ideally, that is done through an explicit negotiation, and the route map really sets out what the process can be from when you're first starting a project to actually reaching that agreement with a local community about the kinds of benefits that are mutually beneficial for both parties. The route map is for investors, project developers, landowners, and for communities too, to guide them through the process of reaching agreement about community benefit. You can use the route map from the very start of a project, from the early discussion stages. That's great if you can do that. But if you're partway through a project, you can also pick up the route map and use it at any point, even if you're an established landholding and you've been delivering natural capital projects for some time. The route map takes us through 5 stages. The first is background research, so using the existing plans and key contacts to understand the community that the project is happening in or around or nearby. The second is then thinking about what are the kind of benefits that we could provide that are realistic for us, that are proportionate, that fit in with our constraints, but also make the most of the opportunities that are there with the kind of land holding that we're working with. We then start thinking about, okay, let's do some meaningful engagement with the community. Let's really understand, let's check our thinking. Let's see where there are opportunities that are mutually beneficial. Then we think about actually creating that formal agreement. Now, this won't be possible in every case, but it is desirable. So we think about formalising what it is we're agreeing. And at the very least, we think about publishing our plan for benefits. And finally, we monitor that, we measure it, we're open to changing it, and we report on it publicly so people can see what the benefits are that we're delivering. I'd really like to thank everybody who was involved in the project. So the projects that we worked with to help ground it in reality, there's of course, so the Facility for Investment Ready Nature Scotland, funded by NatureScot and by the National Lottery Heritage Fund, and AGAS Associates who designed the route map for us. I'd really encourage people to have a look at the route map, engage with it, think about how it aligns with your project, and of course, if you want more help or advice, get in touch with the Good Practice team here at the Land Commission.